What's up, guys? How are you today? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I wanted to talk about expectations today. It's a really important subject, actually, and we all have a tendency to get ourselves into a little bit of trouble when we have created expectations that are not met. So, as the holidays are approaching, I wanted to just bring this topic to the light because, you know, holidays are a sensitive time for a lot of people. I actually just had my birthday and I created an expectation, and because of the expectation that I created, I ended up also creating suffering for myself. So I wanted to bring it up because the holidays are coming, and this kind of situation can happen really easily around holidays or your birthday, or I mean, really anything that you have created an expectation around. However, holidays and birthdays and those types of things are a pretty easy subject to start with. So, as the holidays are coming up and you want your loved ones to fulfill certain things that you might be thinking of, and they don't, how are you going to handle that? How are you going to navigate? What are you going to do? And how can you just remove the expectations from the situation so that you don't actually have anything to have to navigate? I'll use my birthday as an example just so that you can see exactly what I am speaking about. When my birthday came around, we hadn't discussed anything, and by we, I'm talking about my housemates and family. We hadn't discussed anything. I hadn't said that I wanted anything. I didn't declare my desires. And, I had done something for my housemate's birthday, which is only 4 days before mine. And I had done something for him, and it was a really nice gesture, and it was really big. And I think when my birthday came around, in fact, I know when my birthday came around, I just had an expectation that he was going to return that kind of energy and give me something for my birthday that was similar to what I gave him, or something of that line. And when my birthday came around and there was very little acknowledgement, there was acknowledgement. It was great, but it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting something else. So the acknowledgement that I got, it wasn't enough because I had created an expectation without expressing my desire for that expectation. So how in the heck could he have known? How in the heck could anybody know when you create an expectation in your mind and you don't express the desire to have that expectation met? The thing with expectations is if you create an expectation without having a discussion with the person that you are expecting something of, and there was no agreement made, how can that person fulfill your expectation? Because your expectation is in your head. Okay, you get that? Do you know any mind readers? Because I don't. And so we are, by creating an expectation of someone else, we are expecting them to read our minds if we did not declare our desire to have that expectation fulfilled. So that being the case, the expectation I created was not fulfilled. So anything other than that would not have been good enough in that day. And since that other stuff happened, but the expectation didn't happen, that was my focus. And I ended up suffering. I ended up getting really emotionally charged and like, how could they not, do this thing? I did this thing, and expecting somebody else to be like me, which is impossible because I'm the only me that exists in this world. Also expecting that, they knew what I wanted without me saying what I wanted. Okay, so if we really look at this in hindsight, it's on me. It's on me. When we create an expectation, there are so many things that happen. one, we close doors to all other possibilities. I got a birthday message, and I got later on, when I asked for something to be done for me as a birthday gesture, it was done. And it was that simple. But this other thing didn't happen during the duration of my day, and I got stuck on it. Fortunately, I don't get stuck on these things very long anymore, but some people, maybe even you, that kind of thing happens and it lasts a day, it lasts a week, it lasts a month. It gets added to some tally somewhere, okay? And that creates resentment down the line. And this can be with family members, this can be with your partner, this can be with your friends, it can be with your siblings. Oh, I said family members. Anyway, it can be with anyone, your coworkers. But if you create an expectation that they didn't meet and they didn't know they were not meeting it, and then you are staying in some form of reaction over that expectation that was created within yourself, and you didn't deal with it, you didn't work through it, it gets added to this kind of overwhelming checklist of the other person, how often they fucked up, right? And that's not fair. That's not fair. How many times have you failed somebody else's expectation and you don't know it because they never asked you to show up in a specific way? So as we go into the holidays, let's remember that if we have expectations of someone, that we need to express our desires to have those expectations fulfilled. And they need to agree to it with an open, warm heart. And most of the time, they will. They do. We all want to please each other if we can, and how we can. And so it's important to express your desires and not just keep what you want for somebody to do for you in your mind, but you have to ask them, hey, I'd like you to get me some flowers for my birthday. That would be really wonderful. That would make me really happy. I would like you to help me bake cookies for Christmas. That would be wonderful. I would like you to wrap all of the presents for the kids because I don't have time. That would be great. Thank you. Anything that it is that you might need help with, or a gift that you would like, whatever it is, you need to express it first. Because if you don't express it first, it just becomes an expectation. And when you have an expectation, they're just dangerous. They lead you down the path of suffering, okay? Now, if you have an expectation that was a desire that was expressed and agreed upon, and the person doesn't show up, as you expected, that's different. That's different. That's like a breaking of an agreement or something of that sort. So that's a completely different situation. If it's an expectation that you didn't express, that's on you. So figure out how to express your desires. And if you do end up having expectations, which I knew all day long that I was creating an expectation. I knew all day long I was creating an expectation. And it still happened and I still suffered, but I got through it quickly because I realized that was just something that I set, And did they show up in the way I wanted them to? No, well, it doesn't usually happen that way unless you talk to them about showing up in the way that you want them to show up. And even then, sometimes people can't because they're not you, and we all function a little bit differently. So check yourself. How are you going into the holidays? What expectations might you be creating, and how can you just remove all expectations now and just let whatever happens be the perfect thing that is supposed to be happening for you in that moment? All right, guys, that's all I wanted to bring up today because we are going into the holidays, and I just want you guys to have as little suffering as possible and as much joy as you absolutely can. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Get rid of your expectations. Love you.